Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Thompson. I'm the Research Manager for the Services Sector at Deloitte, and I'm here with James Yearsley, who is Lead Partner for the Services Sector. Today we're talking about Deloitte's new report on the public sector, The State of the State, which was published in October. We wanted to highlight some of the most relevant themes for the services industry. So James, if you don't mind, I'm going to start off by asking you a bit about the report itself, why it's of interest to you, and I guess why you think it should be of interest to services clients.
Thanks, Rebecca. This is the fifth time we've run this report, annual report. We interview over 40 public sector VIPs, and we also interview over 1,000 people. We do this in partnership with Reform, and it gives us a great insight into what citizens are looking for, what services they want to have enhanced and what do they want, and importantly how the government is responding to those as well.
Okay, so in terms of the content itself, what do you think are the most important themes to come out of the report and the most relevant for the services sector?
So I think there are three that are really important. One is certainly the shift from austerity to investment, what that means for the services companies. The need for continued transformation. The government needs to carry on with the transformation that it is currently undertaking. And the last thing is the cultural shift that is required in government. So a recognition of having a different mindset around risk, how to bring innovation into the services that delivers to citizens.
To take each of those one at a time, we return to the shift from austerity to investment. That's good news for an awful lot of companies. Who do you think is likely to benefit most, or at least benefit first?
So this is a developing thing at the moment, one for the new government, but also as changes are happening around Brexit. But certainly the infrastructure and construction industry is one area where we're already seeing people signing off new contracts and wanting to do new construction activities. So there'll be big opportunities from a services perspective there.
And moving on to that need for continued transformation, would you mind sort of talking a little bit about that, why it's important, and I guess what the opportunities are within it for services businesses?
So with Brexit, there is going to be a requirement for government to introduce new agencies. By the introduction of those news agencies, there may be people that are being taken from the more traditional government areas into those news agencies, which is going to create a need for backfilling. Plus the new agencies are going to require new skills that don't even exist in government today. So there's an opportunity for services organisations to, I think, partner with government and bring the skills that it has today, either in those backfill roles or into the new agency roles as well.
So you mentioned that citizens were surveyed as part of the research for this report. Would you be able to tell me a little bit about what they said and what insight you got about them from reading the report?
The one thing that I thought was particularly interesting that came out of the report was actually the way that citizens perceived the service that was being delivered to them. So if it was only government delivering it or only the private sector delivering with it, they didn't feel that was particularly good. And in fact, they felt they got a better service if those services were delivered in a partnership way, either government and private sector, or government, the third industry and private sector together. So it feels that the citizen has an expectation that there is far more partnership in the way that those services are going to be delivered in the future.
Brilliant. And moving on to the cultural shift that you spoke about, and I guess as part of that, the digital transformation work that a lot of the public sector is doing. What are the most important aspects of these two things for services businesses?
Certainly one thing that I picked up from reading the report was that the citizen is really looking for services that it wants, and it wants government to change the way it delivers those services to the way that it wants it. And that's going to require a real need for innovation. So, for example, a services company being able to take information with them in a tablet to somebody's house if they're doing social housing and reviewing boilers, for example, so they can answer questions there and then for the citizen rather than having to go away and then come back again at a later date. So real opportunities of responding specifically to that citizen need in real time.
So you were talking about cultural shifts and digital transformation. This could change a lot about the way that people work day to day.
We are definitely going through a transformation in terms of what people are expected to do. we've recently launched our automation report. That automation report showed that a number of activities that are undertaken today by people are going to be done by robots. So automation will happen, and that means that people will then do different jobs, right? More value-added jobs. The second thing is then the connected worker. So I talked about the use of tablets. The concept of the worker being far more agile and being able to work in multiple different places, but being connected back to their corporation, their organization, and have information at their fingertips to do different things, engage with the citizen in a different way, is going to be a major change that's coming, and it's not very far away at the moment.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, James. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to find out more about the report, you can search State of the State on deloitte.co.uk.